What's up, MMA fans? Today we're catching up with ATT coach Marcos Parrumpinha da Matta. How are you, my friend?
How you doing, guys?
Yeah, good to talk to you, Parrumpinha. A lot of work every time I see the UFC. You are in the corner, man. You are flying, you're traveling to Vegas almost every weekend.
yeah. I mean, business is always good, you know. I mean, sometimes people at the gym miss me, you know. Obviously, my family misses me a lot, you know. But always busy means that people appreciate my work, people need me, and it's always good to have, you know, fighters that, you know, are willing or want to work with me, you know.
That's great. And next weekend, you're going to have Pedro Munhoz facing Brazilian legends, Jose Aldo Jr. What you expect about that fight?
I mean, obviously it's going to be a war, you know, like Pedro said in some interviews, you know, it was always a dream of his to compete against Aldo. You know, Aldo is a legend. We're always going to be a fan of Aldo's style, you know. I think nowadays, I think Pedro's a little more, his career is a little more upwards, you know, than Aldo's, you know. But Aldo's always very dangerous, you know. He's always a guy that he wants to finish fights, you know, the same way as Pedro. You know, Pedro's a finisher, you know, whether it's a striking, whether it's on the ground, however he wants to finish the fight. So I think that with those kind of style matchup, you know, there's not going to be a boring fight, you know.
Great. I talked to Alex Davis a few days ago. He was traveling from Orlando to Vegas, man, 40 hours of trip with a truck and his wife in a back car. He said that you guys are going to have ATT Vegas, something like that.
Yeah, so Alex made a deal with the gym in Vegas. You know, he purchased a gym. Now he's taking care of what we call ATT Nevada, which is going to be based in Henderson, Las Vegas. You know, it's great to have a base in Vegas. You know, nowadays Vegas is kind of like back to be the center of the world, you know, especially for MMA with the Apex, UFC Apex, the Performance Institute, you know, traveling to Vegas all the time. We have our fighters there all the time. So I believe that having a base there that we can maybe train, we can cut weight or do some kind of solid training there. That's amazing, you know. And not only that, for his life, he's going to be good as a manager, you know. Living in Vegas, you were right there with the who is who in the MMA and the UFC, you know. So I think even for his manager career, is going to be amazing for him, you know.
And talking about who is who, a few weeks ago, you trained Thiago Moises to face the guy that people are calling the new Khabib, the new Khabib Nurmagomedov, which is Islam Makhachev. And we just got the news that he will face RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, in October in Abu Dhabi. You trained, you did the whole camp with Thiago to face that guy. What advice would you give Rafael dos Anjos to try to neutralize this monster, this new Khabib Nurmagomedov?
Yeah, I mean, there's there are very few differences, you know. But the major difference that I see from Rafael to Thiago is that Rafael is a southpaw. So, and he does those calf kicks very well. So I would like to see him using that a lot on the fight, you know. And hopefully his takedown defense and his jiu-jitsu is right on point, because that's something that Islam is very, very strong at it. But I think my biggest advice for him would be don't walk back. You know, the moment that Islam puts you to walk backwards, he grows. He stays, you know, so big in front of you, because he have the wrestling, he have the striking. He's a long guy for the division. You know, he's tall. You know, he has a good takedown defense. You know, he has kicks. You know, so if you put Islam to walk back, then you have more chances of even kicking his calf, using your boxing, you know, and everything, you know. So I think the major thing is that Rafael needs to understand is that he needs to walk forward, you know, and that's something that we train for Thiago to do it, you know. The few times that he could implement that, it was a lot better. You could see on the tape that he was, you know, throwing punches and everything. But then Islam would adjust and put him to walk back. That's when he got, you know, the best out of Thiago, you know. So my advice is don't walk back. Try to stand your ground, and try to, you know, make Islam walk back.
What about Dustin Poirier? After his fight with McGregor, he said probably his Charles Oliveira, the title dispute, is going to be his last fight. What advice would you give to him? Do the whole camp with you guys in Florida for sure.
Well, I mean, Dustin has a very accomplished career, you know, but the only thing that's missing is the UFC, you know, title, you know, not interim, but the real one, you know. So I can see that he's going to be very serious about that. He's going to be very serious about this fight. He's going to take that fight very seriously. You know, obviously Charles is a very dangerous opponent everywhere, not only striking, but also on the ground, you know. I would say that his worst, you know, ability will be like wrestling, but he manages to get the fight to the ground through body locks and everything, you know, judo adapted, you know. So he's also very dangerous everywhere, you know. I mean, we're talking about the best of the best 55ers in the world, you know. So I see in a 50-50, you know, chance for each other's fight, you know. I like Charles a lot, you know, especially with his history, his loyalty to his team. You know, he's with these guys for a long time. But Dustin is our guy, is our teammate, is the guy that, you know, is going to represent our flag here, American Top Team. I'm going to help him as much as I can to bring one more belt to us, you know.
Parrumpa, I saw last few weeks that 3 of your teammates had a problem with COVID-19. Catel Cubs, if I'm not wrong, Amanda. The fight was canceled, and also Hani Arya. Do you guys have some kind of politics inside ATT talking about supporting the guys, promoting the fighters to take the vaccine? How does that work in ATT?
Well, I mean, this is a tough subject, you know, because we cannot obligate anyone to take vaccines, you know. I mean, smart people will do it, you know, especially the coaches, you know, because you're traveling all the time. You're in and out of airplanes all the time. You know, you're dealing with different fighters all the time, different training partners, different like rooms. You know, you train a room in Vegas and you train at ATT and you train, you know, anywhere. So, I mean, I was probably the first guy. I mean, from ATT, I was the first guy to get COVID back in June last year. You know, and I was probably the first guy who got vaccinated because I believe in the vaccine. I believe that I was exposed to COVID so many times after the vaccine, you know, and I was safe. My family back home was safe. My kids who still don't get the vaccine yet were safe, you know. So I believe I'm a living proof. When Augusto Sakai, you know, fought Wolverine, you know, we had a room with 9 people, including Thiago Moises, Marcos Rogério de Lima, Luciano Macarrão, Catel Cubis, and a lot of other people. 9 people tested. 8 people tested positive. I was the only one who tested negative because I already got the vaccine, already got the COVID. So I believe in the vaccine. You know, if anyone asks me, take the vaccine. I mean, you eat McDonald's, you drink from, you know, anywhere water, you drink alcohol. and then you don't want to take vaccine because you don't know what's on it. Come on, man. That's you know, it's insane. You know, you gotta protect not only yourself but your family, your friends. You know, so I myself, I encourage everybody to take the vaccine. You know, inside ATT, Dan Lambert, he advises people, listen, you got to do it. You know, because sometimes one guy is going to put in jeopardize, I mean, a big fight. You know, imagine if Dustin Poirier, you know, have to withdraw from McGregor's fight. It's millions and millions of dollars. It's weeks of training camp. A lot of people spend a lot of money, and because someone didn't get the vaccine, or a coach cannot corner Dustin because he didn't get the vaccine and tested negative, you know, that's gonna put in jeopardy, you know, the whole fight, the whole win, the whole, you know. So we encourage people, but we cannot force anyone, you know. That's the whole thing.
Great advice, Parrumpa. And to finish our talk, I follow you since the blue belt. I remember you back on the days on 1996 and first Mundial, first World Jiu-Jitsu Championship in the podium. You were purple belt with Carson Gracie aside of you, giving the medal and everything. So you grew up in a Jiu-Jitsu atmosphere. And today you have contact with fighters from everywhere in the world. You have fighters from Kazakhstan. You have Zalga Zumagulov, Sergei Morozov. You have the guys from Dagestan. What's the difference between the Jiu-Jitsu background guys and those guys that comes from wrestling, from Dagestan?
There's a few differences, you know, like people that come from my generation, they're very big on strategy, you know, as I am. You know, I'm always watching videos. I'm always putting on the paper what I should have done, what I should do. So I pass on to my fighters like that, you know. I like to put a strategy. I like to say, you're going to do this in the first round, then the second round you do that, maybe change. But obviously, this is not an exact science, right? For example, on Rodrigo Nascimento's fight, we had a game plan that went completely, you know, out of the door on the first round because he lost badly the first round, you know. And then we have to, in 45 seconds, 50 seconds, change his mindset, change everything in between rounds, and came back and knocked the guy out, you know. So we always have to adapt, not only myself, you know, but the coaches that work with me, the fighters, you know. We have to always be, you know, in a mental stage that we can adapt, and we have to adapt, because MMA is like that. It's very unpredictable. That's why it's the most interesting sport in the world, in my opinion. You know, I mean, it's the only sport that you see a wrestler get taken down, a striker get knocked out, a jiu-jitsu guy getting finished, you know, by a submission. So it's so interesting, you know. But also, you know, that's the jiu-jitsu part of the game. But now you see a lot of wrestlers, they have a very good, a very tough mind attitude, you know, to train hard every day, to never give up, you know. So it's different. It's because of those different backgrounds that we have so many fighters, you know, doing big things in MMA, you know. And at American Top Team, we have so many guys around the world. In every practice, we have at least 10 countries on the mat, minimum, you know. So it's unbelievable to see those guys, you know, getting on the mat and actually, you know, doing it. I was just talking to Armand Sarukian. He just came in this week to start his camp for his fight in September, you know. He comes from Armenia. There's another country, you know. Mosar Ivloev comes from Ingushetia. People don't even know where Ingushetia is. It's a small country inside Chechnya, you know. His brother just took gold medal yesterday in the Greco-Roman 97 kilogram. So his whole family comes from a fighting background. His brother's a wrestler. His other brother's a boxer. He's an MMA fighter, you know. So all these guys, you know, they come from different backgrounds. They bring something to the table to American Top Team. And that's what the beauty is. You know, I feel very honored to be able to work with these guys, you know, around the world, especially also the Dagestanian guys. You know, they're so humble, they're so work ethic, so good, you know, and it's amazing, man.
Yeah, I can imagine how fearful it is for the opponent to look at the other side of the octagon and see a mix of wrestling from Dagestan, jiu-jitsu from Carson Gracie, and then Catel Cubes in kickboxing. Man, it's really scary. Thanks a lot, Parrumpa. It was a very nice talk as always.
Thank you, Alonso. Thank you guys for listening to us. See you next time.